It's part of the Real Quick series and bringing you the Resto Druid. I'm a brand new Resto Druid, but I've learned a lot, especially watching videos. These are talents I use. I really like Tiger Dash. Helps me get bashes off. Helps me get away from melee. Helps me line. Some people like Wild Charge. I'm not really into it. Renewal. I got heals already. I don't really need that extra, Swift Men type heal, but it can be viable. Don't count them out. I'm also an Incarn guy. I never go solo the forest, but Nourish is really strong, especially if you feel like you're not going to get interrupted, you're not going to get trained, you're just going to be healing somebody else. Thorns you can definitely use to win a game. Um, but I usually use Revitalize, Cyclone, and then Focus Growth for those Life Bloom ticks. It's going to show you kind of how you play as a Druid, like on the pillar, real quick. You kind of this stuff like that. You got somebody over there you're healing, maybe somebody over to the left, like I was showing earlier. Uh, you want to get your Light Bloom stacks up on the target that's taking the most DPS. If you can, get your regrowths up, keep your rejuves going. And it can be kind of hard to do on multiple targets whenever you learn, though. It makes that myth of druids not being able to heal two targets at once go out the window. You just don't want to get behind. Once you get behind on a druid, you're pretty much going to play catch up, which is hard because it puts you in compromising positions, opens you up to CC, all that stuff. So always play the pillar when you can. That's the biggest part about druid positioning. Uh, that's your strong point. You have the ability to not stand in the line of CC. Uh, Obviously, if somebody's casting a poly on you, you want to shapeshift real quick. It can be hard to tell who they're casting on, especially with focus macros, but you can kind of get a gist of like what they're doing and in the range they are from you. If they're out of range, obviously they're not casting it on you. But yeah, practice your rotation. Remember, light bloom is important. Uh, Double rejuve is really good. Get your regrowth clear casting procs off. That's gonna help save mana throughout the fight. Um, and then obviously if somebody's getting burst down, Swiftmend. You want 3 Azerite talents of Grove Tending, which makes your Swiftmend actually apply a hot afterwards. That's very important. You see we got the heals rolling on these NPCs right now. And obviously your fights aren't going to be that, A and B, you know what I mean? You're just going to play the pillar and stuff like that, but sometimes, I mean, if you're playing Turbo or something like that, RMP, they will. Ironbark's really strong if you gotta if you've gotta put your hots back up, or if somebody's getting trained, you want to put Ironbark up. But also it can be used as like a defense mechanism. Say he doesn't have the light bloom on him, he's not getting trained, but he's still taking like dot damage. I can put the Ironbark on him, so I don't really have to worry about him. So I can cast Nourishes on my target that doesn't have the Ironbark on it. Get those big heals off on him. Uh, Tree form is also a preemptive oh shit button. You don't want to pop tree form when everybody's dead, or close to dead, because it's not going to save you. Because regrowth spamming isn't going to save anybody, and you still got to keep your life bloom up for those ticks. Still got to keep your rejuves up and stuff like that. But it will allow you to cast without being polyed or CC'd as nearly as bad. And they're instant cast, obviously. I'm just showing you right here like a little trick in the Mugambala. It works in the arena as well. That little ledge right there allows you, where you're a place where you normally wouldn't be able to cast, you can cast. And then if you come back here, obviously you can cast upstairs. Uh, so far as like lining goes, it's very easy to do as a druid, so it's not as important as like say on a shaman. But if you just play the pillar and stuff like that, you're able to line the polys and the cyclones, stuff like that, or even damage if it's coming your way. Sometimes you can get trained, you know what I mean? You got to go bear real quick. Uh, There's Tiger Dash again. I'm just gonna show you real quick, I think, how to bash somebody, and it's fairly simple, and you can use it to cyclone, or you can use it on the kill target, depending. Uh, the macros that I use right quick, I have like a cyclone 1, 2, 3. I have obviously my pog one, where I pop my trinket and all that stuff. I got tangling roots 1, 2, 3, but I'm really using that because usually if I'm gonna root somebody, it's gonna be a warrior or somebody who's melee. You can also root like a healer behind a pillar or something like that, but also they can dispel it. So it's kind of like root's not really that strong unless you know that it's not going to be dispelled, or if it's gonna save somebody's life, or the other healer's occupied. Say if like they're in a stun lock, something like that, you can CC him for a little bit, just mess around with them. Right here, I'm just trying to build up some ramp up for my heals and stuff. Kind of see what they tick for. Get the meter going. It doesn't work, so I'm gonna go find some crabs. And the funny thing about druids is that they really are good healers, man. Like they've got cyclone stuff like that. Like your bash clone is so crazy, it's ridiculous. And on here, what I'm doing is I'm pretty much just padding the meter. I'm gonna circle on the ground, round up a bunch of these crabs and various critters right here, just to show you like what type of healing you can expect out of what ability you have. And that's pretty important to know because as a druid, you don't really have an oh shit button. You have Swiftmen, and then you have tree or you know, I almost said nourish, but that's not an oh shit button. You know what I mean? You have tree form, which really is an oh shit button. Tree form's like a preemptive. I'm gonna counteract their damage with all of my healing because tree form isn't gonna save somebody who's close to dying that has their go on them already. You know what I mean? If they're at 60% health and then they go, you know what I mean? Tree isn't gonna save them. Stuff like that. So you got to make sure that you know what's gonna keep your target close to top off. You know, or will help them get topped off as quickly as possible after their go is through. RMP, they're famous for the two go. The mage goes combustion and the rogue goes vendetta after that and the second go, or they do it at the same time depending on what comp they face. So you gotta be careful. You know what I mean? Know what comp you're going against and know what they do. Like TSG, their favorite thing is to grip you after they've done a little bit of damage, they've got you blowing cooldowns, and then they grip you into the mess, and then they go you, and you got to have cooldowns to be able to get out of there. You got to be able. That's why I like Tiger's Dash. Helps you get away from them really fast. I mean, he'll chains ice you, but you can definitely get away. Chains ice and the piercing howl or the hamstring. You can shapeshift out of that. But that Tiger's Dash, if they're not on point, you get Tiger's Dash way out of there. So I'm just gathering some stuff up and casting my heal rotation, which is very varied. But I keep the three light bloom stacks. You can let your light blooms run out and do the heal, but whenever somebody's taking a lot of damage, it's not really a good idea. But if like they're gonna die anyway, you might as well let it run out and get that big heal out of that. It's pretty much all I do. I keep two rejuves up, and then your three light bloom stacks. Here I'm gonna go in tree, kind of go a little ham with the heals. I'm trying to keep all of the hots up though too, just to show you like what heals for what. That is essentially gonna make you a better healer. I believe it's very important to know what you're gonna be using, what you're gonna be utilizing in your your toolkit, and as you'll see after this, Life Bloom is really strong. Swift Mending actually does uh, on par healing with the Grove Tending Azerite trait. If you have three Grove Tending Azerite traits, I believe that Swift Mend is actually out healed by its Azerite traits, which is really crazy because that's like having a third or fourth, Swift Mend in your toolkit. So don't sleep on the Grove Tending trait. You have to have three of those to be viable in the higher rated arenas. And pretty much for me, like right here, that's a thing you can use too. Is the vortex with the Tiger Dash is really strong. Just position your vortex. Don't use a cast that cursor macro for it because that can kind of hinder your ability to see like the outer edge of the ring. But position your vortex, to where it's gonna be like right on your heels, the end of it, and then when you run away, they'll get caught up in that little whirl. It's especially good for melee, and if you have Tiger Dash, you're not gonna be able to be caught by them. Uh, So let's go over these healing guns. Right here, you can actually see what I was talking about. You know, life bloom, regrowth, rejuvenation, and then obviously you got your swift mend and grove tending in there. And it's crazy how they heal for almost the same. Swift mend and the grove tending, that blows my mind. But your bark skin, my bark skin has healing on there, but that's actually shield. Absorb shields are really strong uh, for preventing the KO, you know, in oh shit situations. But as a druid, like I said, your only oh shit buttons are really swift mend and tree. Uh, the best way to prevent somebody from dying is to cast iron bark on them, and then with your hots rolling, or if you know somebody's fixing to get, you know, zerged, you know, put the iron bark on them and get your hots rolling as, you know, they're taking damage. It might be an instance where your iron bark and tree form at the same time. Uh, if it's coming to yourself, always use your bark skin before you use your iron bark. That way, if they do go from you to somebody else, you're not losing that damage reduction. That damage reduction is really, really crucial to being able to save somebody. Especially as a druid, you don't have oh shit buttons like a spirit link totem, or you know, or a power word shield, you know, or a greater heal, or a life cocoon. Let's not go there. Uh, just think preemptive as a druid, and that's what a lot of our WoW arenas are. Is just being preemptive. Um, I have Guardian Affinity. That's for the reduction in damage. That's something that I failed to mention earlier, but Guardian Affinity is really strong for preventing damage, and it'll keep you alive a lot longer whenever you're getting trained. Whenever they are training you, don't hesitate to go bear. Wait for them to blow their stuns and stuff like that to try to kill you, and then Tiger Dash away. You know, that's the easiest way to get away. You know, if you have to heal, bark skin, healing rotation, and you know, keep yourself alive. You know, as best as you can. If you lose, don't worry about it. You're gonna get better. Don't let it defeat you. And always look for ways to innovate your gameplay and your play style, because a lot of it, that's what it is. That's how good players become good players. They just know what to do in certain situations, and then they become creative too. We're going to do this. That's going to throw them off, and it works. Thanks for watching. I'll see you next time. Like and subscribe for more videos. Please comment.